really quick, we have two Spanish. The first one is on the traffic, Rivera,
Yeah?
and the second is under misdemeanor pleables, Montanez Bravo.
Correct.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Okay. All right, I'm going to call the interpreter, okay?
Okay.
I don't know if I get from there. There's nothing to add there. All right, this is Judge Wish. We are, what's the date? It's June 12th, 2020. And we are in BRC Courtroom 1 and videoing to BRC Courtroom 2. Can I have the parties announce themselves for the record, please?
Kathy Kennedy Swanson on behalf of the Office of the State Attorney.
Letitia
Hello?
Fowler with the Office of Public Defender.
All right, is the interpreter on the line?
Yes, Your Honor. The interpreter is on the line. Can Your Honor,
Okay.
can Your Honor hear the interpreter?
I can. Can you all hear the interpreter in, or do you know, Ms. Fowler, if he can hear? I don't know, Mr. Interpreter, if you can advise whether or not.
Your Honor, the interpreter has not connected to the headsets. What
Okay.
room is the defendant in?
Courtroom BRC 2.
BRC. Okay, just 1 second, Your Honor, and I'll connect right now.
They're always going to be in BRC 2.
Got it. Thank you.
Sí.
Okay, yes, we're connected, Judge.
Okay. All right, have you been previously sworn today? I can't hear you.
No sé en lo
Oh.
que le llamo juramento.
Has the
Yes, Your
inter-
Honor, the interpreter has been sworn in already. I apologize.
Okay, sir, can you tell me your name, please?
René Huerta Rivera.
René Huerta Rivera.
All right, Mr. Rivera, you're here in 2020 CT 3752. You were arrested for reckless driving. I do find probable cause for that offense, and I will appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you in your case. Based on your lack of any criminal history, I don't think it's a good idea to resolve this case today, and so I am going to release you on your own recognizance. That means that you will not have to post a bond, but you need to show up to any court appearance that you're required to be at. So please contact the Public Defender's Office within 24 hours of your release so that they're able to know how to get in touch with you to advise you of any future court dates. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Good luck, sir. Thank you. All right. Good morning, sir. Tell me your name, please.
Nelson Montañez. Nelson Montañez.
Oh, Nelson Montañez.
All right, Mr. Montanez, you're here in case number 2020 MM 4286 AO. You're arrested for possession of drug paraphernalia and possession of cannabis. And I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office. Sorry? Oh, there's no note that says that it doesn't. Okay, hold on 1 second. Yes, it does? Okay. So you do qualify for the public defender, and I'll appoint them to represent you. So no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, sir.
State has no objection to a withhold as to count 1. Court dismissing count 2.
Okay, so Mr. Montanez, the state's making an offer today to resolve your case if you would like to do that. The offer on count 1 is a withhold of adjudication, which means it's not a conviction, and you would get credit for the time that you've been in the Orange County Jail. And count 2 would be dismissed pursuant to that plea as to count 1. And I would give you a year to pay your court costs. Did you want to accept that offer today?
¿De cuántos son los daños judiciales?
And how much are the court costs?
323? 323, and I'll give you a year to pay that.
¿Y salgo hoy mismo?
And I would get out today?
Yes. I'm not going to revoke your release on the other case.
¿Qué significa eso?
What does that mean?
That you would get out today, and I would not revoke your bond on the case that you're out on bond in. I could revoke that and hold you at no bond.
Oh, okay.
Ms. Fowler, do you want to
Yeah, I paid the
explain
prison.
anything to him, or?
Okay.
Does anybody want to give me an answer as to what he wants to do?
Yeah, I want to resolve it today.
He wants to resolve it. Did he speak in? Was that him?
They're communicating through the headset right now, Judge.
Okay, I didn't know if that was the interpreter. It was English.
He would like to resolve his case today, enter a plea of no contest.
Okay. Mr. Montanez, did you read the plea form before you came into the courtroom?
No.
No.
Okay, well, I'm going to need you to read that plea form before I can accept your plea.
Sí, dile que yo acepto lo de pagar los 323.
Yes, tell her that I don't mind paying the 323.
Okay, my question was, now have you read the plea form?
Esta parte, this part top.
Okay, this is not going to happen today if he's unable to
Sí,
understand
yeah.
and read the plea form.
Your Honor, he stated that he does understand the form.
Okay. Do you understand all those rights you're giving up by entering the plea, Mr. Montanez?
Sí.
Yes.
Are you on probation anywhere?
¿Cómo?
What?
Are you on probation anywhere?
No. No.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
No, yo soy a citizen.
I'm a citizen.
All right, but do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Oh, sí. Sí, sí.
Yes.
All right, I do find a factual basis to accept your plea to the possession of the drug paraphernalia based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll withhold adjudication, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days time served, order you pay your court costs by June 12th, 2021. And as to count 2, the state has indicated that they wish the court to dismiss it. As to the plea in count 1, the court will dismiss count Two, based on the plea agreement, I'll order that, or I already ordered that you pay your court costs. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Make sure you do not miss any court dates, sir, in your out on release case.
Okay. Thank you, Judge. I
right.
appreciate your help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And Mr. Interpreter, I have some witnesses here for some DV cases, and I'm unsure whether or not any of them need your services. Could you announce if anybody needs the interpreter to raise their right hand?
Yes, Your Honor. Este anuncio es para el auditorio. Si usted es testigo y va a declarar en algún caso, levante la mano derecha si necesita un intérprete en español.
Okay. I see no hands raised. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. You have a great weekend.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket, Brent Bauman, Mental Health. From the recess.
Okay. Yes. All right. So this was reset. Mr. Bauman, I think for a possible plea. Was anybody able to speak with him?
No, Your Honor,
No.
we just asked for it to be reset again for tomorrow.
You want it to be reset again?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So we'll reset Mr. Bauman again at the request of the public defender.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket, Damian Jones, refuse.
All right. And I did reset this one yesterday. All right, so I'm going to deal with Mr. Jones's case. He refused yesterday, so he is voluntarily absenting himself from the initial appearance proceeding. And I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent him. And Ms. Fowler, do you want to waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So it's 2020 CF 72010, charged with robbery, armed with a weapon, and petty theft, 2 prior convictions. I do find probable cause based on the affidavit, and I did appoint the public defender. Not sure why this has a $10,000 bond. I believe it's a punishable by life felony.
I think it's an F1 because it's a weapon, not a firearm, but
I'll have to look, but I'm pretty sure it could be wrong.
if that's the reason why you're on.
It's punishable by 30 with the weapon. All right, so he's not to have any contact directly or indirectly with any victim or witness in the case. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. No return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred, the Walgreens at 2420 East Colonial Drive. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. The bond, I will stay the bond at the $10,000 on count 150. He's out on release in 2020 MM 3214AO. I am revoking the release and setting the bonds at none in that case. And I believe the public defender is appointed in that case. Good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Sophia Privat.
All right, Ms. Privat, you're here in 2020 MM 150AE. You were arrested for possession of drug paraphernalia and, well, 2 counts of possession of drug paraphernalia. And I do find probable cause. And I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in your case. Was there an offer to resolve the cases?
I have one thing, Counter.
Is it one case or 2?
2 counts of possession.
Oh, okay, I see 2 counts then.
We'll do an adjudication of guilt, credit for time served.
All right, so the state's made an offer of adjudication of guilt and credit for time served. Do we know how, is it 3 days?
You have 3 days.
3 days? Okay.
Yes.
Your Honor, she'd like to resolve her case today, enter a plea of no contest.
Okay, all right. Ms. Pravat, did you read the plea form before you came into the courtroom?
Yes.
Did you understand everything contained within that plea form?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes.
Okay, I find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty on each count, sentence you to 3 days with credit for 3 days, time served. Those will run concurrent. Order you pay your court costs by June 12, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. I'm not going to take any action on the out on release cases. Make sure you keep in touch with your attorneys.
Yes.
In one of the out on bond cases, she pled for it yesterday.
I'm sorry.
In one of the out on bond cases, she pled yesterday, so the case is closed.
Okay, so I won't revoke release on the other case. You pled yesterday to one of them, okay?
Yes.
Just make sure you keep in touch with your attorney, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
Thank
Your
you,
Honor, the next person on the docket, Angela Talbert, due to behavior, she would not be coming to court.
All right, yesterday was mental health. Today is behavior. I'm finding her behavior to be a waiver. The PD was previously appointed yesterday. And is this an accurate, I know we've identified her, but I don't have anything on the face sheet.
It's an updated copy of it.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, Courtney. Appreciate that.
Was she Jane Doe?
Okay, so Ms. Fowler, did you want to waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, she's charged with trespass in an occupied structure as a refusal to leave and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause. No return back to the location of the trespass. Abide by the trespass. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I am going to release her on her own recognizance. She has no prior failures to appear. All right, good morning. Tell me your name, ma'am.
Audra Buckus.
All right, Ms. Bacchus, you're here in 2020 CF 7261AO. You're arrested for aggravated battery with a firearm, domestic violence, and aggravated assault with a weapon, domestic violence. I do find probable cause. Doesn't look like you're going to qualify for the public defender based on your affidavit. You make $4,400 a month?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you been living in Orlando?
I live in a community called Shady Grove. My address is Greenville, and I've lived there since October. My husband and I are renting there. We're here visiting friends. We don't live in Orlando.
Okay, you live in Texas?
No, ma'am. I moved from Texas. The 2643 Southwest Wonderwood, Greenville, Florida is my current address.
Okay, all right.
And I've lived there since October.
Was she able to be interviewed?
She was interviewed. She didn't qualify due to community ties. Did you want to court order her to pretrial?
Yeah, I'm just gonna, are you planning on staying here?
Yes, ma'am, I can, and I also work for Southwest Airlines, so that would
travel
be,
for-
that would be the only reason that I would be leaving is for when I go to work.
Right, right. But you're planning on residing in the state of Florida. That's where your residence is?
Well, I'm sure this is fixing to lead to divorce, but
I understand.
yeah, I'm probably
All right.
going back to Texas.
Okay. So, what I'm going to do is I am going to order that you have no contact directly or indirectly with your husband, okay? And that can be changed in writing at a later date by a judge, but I'm going to order that today.
I think that's best.
Have you signed the no contact order form?
I'm doing that right now, I think, right here.
You're ordered to maintain a separate residence, and you may return with law enforcement one time to get any personal belongings that you may need. You're not to possess any weapons, any firearms, or any ammunition. So I believe I've established. How long have you've been working for Southwest? For 13 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And for
And-
another airline prior to that as well.
Okay. She's got no failures to appear, no criminal history whatsoever. I've read the affidavit. There's some self-defense arguments as well that can be made. I don't believe she's a flight risk. I think pretrial release is appropriate. And so, Courtney, I'm going to order her into pretrial release. Okay, ma'am? So you need to make sure you comply with their pretrial release conditions
Yes,
as
ma'am.
well as my orders, okay? Make sure you don't miss any court dates. Keep in touch. Well, you don't have an attorney, so it's very important that you get in touch with an attorney as soon as possible, okay?
Okay, so
All right.
I'm overqualified for the public defender, so.
You did. I cannot appoint them based on your income,
Yes,
okay? So when you get released, I would contact an attorney,
Okay, thank you.
all right? Good morning. Tell me your name, sir.
Good morning. My name is Clement Israun.
All right, Mr. Izaroon, you're here in 2020 CF 7225AO. You're arrested for aggravated assault with a firearm and aggravated battery with a weapon, domestic violence, both domestic violence. And I do find probable cause. You make $1,000 a week
Yes, ma'am.
and one dependent, one child?
Yeah, I have two children at home, but yes, two children at home.
How old are the children?
One's 21 and one's 17.
Okay, 21 is not a, I know it's your child, but it's not, it's 21's an adult. And how old's the other one?
He's 17, ma'am.
Okay, that's the child. So you have one dependent. And you get paid, is that after taxes, $1,000?
Correct.
Okay. So you're not going to qualify for the public defender today. I can't appoint them to represent you in your case. Do we have any witnesses here for Mr. Isaroon? No. All right. So, Mr. Isaroon, I am going to order that you have no contact directly or indirectly with any victim in the case. I'll have you sign the no contact order form. Did you understand everything contained in that no contact order?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're also to maintain a separate residence. If you need to return with law enforcement, you can go one time to get your personal belongings. You're not to possess any alcohol or any illegal substances without a valid prescription, no weapons, no firearms, no ammunition. If you have any weapons or any firearms, you're to surrender them to law enforcement within 6 hours of your release from the Orange County Jail. You do qualify for pretrial release. You need to make sure that you comply with my orders as well as what pretrial release is going to tell you to do. I'll release you on pretrial release.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Sean Baksh.
All right. Baksh?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Baksh, you're here in 2020 MM 500 AW. You're arrested for domestic violence battery. I do find probable cause, and I will appoint the public defender. We do have a witness here. Ma'am, if you're comfortable taking the mask off in there, you can. It's easier to hear you. So if you want to keep it on, you can keep it on. Okay. Whatever you feel comfortable with. Can you please raise your right hand to be sworn in? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, and just if you could take that microphone and just pull it down just slightly, thank you. All right, and just speak into the microphone. Can you state your name for me and spell your last name?
Alicia Hafiza, Bacchus.
Okay. And then Ms. Kenny Swanson, did you wish to inquire of the
Yes,
witness?
Your Honor.
Okay.
How do you know Mr. Baksh?
He's my husband.
Are you afraid of him?
No.
Would you like contact with him while this case is pending?
Yes.
If something happened in the future, would you feel comfortable in calling the police or 911?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right. Has there been any violence in the past in your relationship?
No.
This is the first incident?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Ms. Fowler, do you have any additional questions?
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay. I've reviewed the affidavit. I'm going to allow non-hostile, non-violent contact. Mr. Baksh, that means no pushing, no violent contact, no pushing, no biting, no scratching, no kicking, no getting in her face. And you can't say mean things to her. You can't yell at her. If things get heated, you walk away. You can't make threats, anything like that. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
Okay. You're also to not possess any weapons, any firearms, or any ammunition. And you do qualify for pretrial release. I'm going to place you in the program, so make sure that you comply with my court orders as well as their conditions of release. Okay? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good morning, sir. Please tell me your name.
Javon Brown.
All right, Mr. Brown, you're here in 2020 MM 4255AO. You're arrested for domestic violence battery. I do find probable cause for that offense, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Are there any witnesses in the? Okay, so we have no witnesses present today. So, Mr. Brown, I'm going to have you sign the no contact order. No contact directly or indirectly with the victim in the case, and that can be changed in writing by a judge. I'm also ordering that you maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms or any ammunition. If you need to return one time with law enforcement to get any personal belongings, you may do so. But if the victim's not present at the residence and living there, then you can live at the residence. Okay, you just have to maintain a separate residence. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. You also qualify for pretrial release. I'm going to release you into that program. Make sure you comply with their conditions as well as my orders, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. Please tell me your name.
Natalia Brown.
All right, Ms. Brown, you're here in 2020 MM 4294AO. It's a domestic violence battery. I do find probable cause for that offense. And I don't have a form for the public defender. Are you planning on hiring your own attorney, or did you want me to appoint the public defender?
You can appoint a public defender.
Okay, I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. No contact, we don't have any witnesses present here. So no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. I'll have you sign the no contact order form, please. Did you understand everything contained on that form?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Brown. You're also to maintain a separate residence. If you need to return to the residence, you must be with law enforcement to get personal belongings. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. I don't know if the Department of Children and Families was contacted. There was a child present, and so I'm going to order that if there is an investigation pending, that you comply with any DCF investigation. You do qualify for pretrial release. I'm going to release you to pretrial release. Make sure you comply with their conditions as well as my court orders. Good luck, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
All right, good morning. Tell me your name, sir.
Good morning. My name is Basil Henderson.
All right, Mr. Henderson, you're here in 2020 MM 4290AO. You're arrested for domestic violence battery. Do you find probable cause for that offense? And I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. And that we don't have any witnesses present here in this courtroom. No contact directly or indirectly with the victim. I'll have you sign the no contact order. Did you understand everything on that form, sir?
Yes, miss.
Okay. You're also to maintain a separate residence from the victim. You may return one time to the residence with law enforcement to get any personal belongings that you may need. You're not to possess weapons or firearms or any ammunition. I do note that DCF was contacted, so they may have an investigation. If they do, you must comply. You do qualify for pretrial release. I'm going to place you in that program. Make sure you comply, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor,
Good luck,
the
sir.
next, the
Yes?
next person on the docket, Alejandro Laurie, is in the hospital.
Okay, we'll reset. 24 hours from the release from the hospital. All right, and then I think we're on to the 33 days. I don't have anything else.
Ready when you are, Your Honor.
Okay. You ready, Ms. Fowler?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. 2020 CF 5737AO Lindahl Ray Harrell.
She granted the state file notice of non-filing before the 33rd day.
All right, that will be granted.
And we're starting with the pleables, Your Honor?
Whatever you, I have Melford Neary first. That's what's it's a misdemeanor VOP, I believe,
Okay.
or traffic VOP. I can
Okay.
do whatever you want me to do,
No, that's fine, Your Honor. I just wanted to
Okay.
double check.
but okay. I can't figure it out. All right. Good morning, sir. Tell me your name, please.
Milford Myrie.
All right, Mr. Myrie, you're here in 2019 CT 1236AW, and it's a violation of probation warrant. And Judge Bigney did set the bond at none. It says set for an arraignment in Division 63. I'm going to appoint the PD. Miss Manikia, did you want me to do the arraignment today, and then we can just get him on the docket?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Myrie, you're alleged to have violated your probation by not complying with instructions given to you by your probation officer when you failed to actively participate in the substance abuse treatment as ordered by the court on July 25th, 2019, and directed by your probation officer. And so we're going to give you a date. We're going to enter a denial. And Ms. Manikia, your office may want to contact Judge Bigney to see if it can probably get moved up or, okay?
Your
Thank
VFB
you.
status is going to be July 22nd at 9 o'clock in courtroom 12C.
And if there's some sort of resolution, Mr. Myrie, that's just a date. It can always be set sooner. You can resolve your case sooner if there's some sort of an agreement, okay?
Now, what date is that, ma'am? Your Honor? July. And in the meantime,
In the meantime, you're going to be sitting here at no bond, and your attorneys will be able to file a motion or get you in front of the judge sooner. But I'm not permitted to modify that warrant. Okay.
Okay, ma'am, because I submitted to the probation office, and everyone, I had congestive heart failure. I was supposed to have surgery.
I understand, but your attorneys will be able to file a motion today if Ms. Manicky is able to talk with whoever is going to be assigned to your case.
Okay.
So you may want to call that phone number as well.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Good luck, sir. All right. Good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Jamarian Brown.
All right, Mr. Brown, you're here in 2020 MM 4278AO. You're arrested for trespass on property other than a structure or conveyance and petty theft. And I do find probable cause. I don't have a form for the public defender. Did you want to resolve? Is there an offer, Ms. Kenny Swanson?
There is not, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Mr. Brown, are you going to hire your own attorney, or you want me to appoint the PD to represent you?
No, ma'am.
Sorry?
I said no, ma'am.
No to which one?
On the first one.
So you're not going to hire your own attorney?
No,
Okay.
ma'am.
Do you want me to appoint the public defender?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'll appoint the PD to represent you in your case. You may not return back to the Walmart at 3101 West Princeton Street. No contact with any victims or witnesses, and abide by the trespass warning. Does he not qualify for pretrial release?
He did not qualify.
Okay. Mr. Brown, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance today. You have a prior failure to appear back in 2018. You recently pled to a petty theft, so I know that you're going to court. So make sure you don't miss any court dates, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Make sure everybody has your address and they know how to get in touch with you. Get in touch with your attorney within 24 hours of your release, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket, Christopher Estrada, refused court.
Okay. All right, I'm going to reset Mr. Estrada for tomorrow. All right, good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Charlotte Darlene Griffith.
All right, Ms. Griffith, you're here in 2020 MM 4284AO. You're arrested for 2 counts of possession of drug paraphernalia and resisting an officer without violence. I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Was there an offer, Ms. Kennedy Swanson?
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication of guilt, credit for time served.
Okay. Ms. Manikia, did you know if she wants to accept that offer?
Yes, Your Honor, she would like to plea.
Okay. Did you read the plea form before you came in the courtroom, Ms. Griffith?
Yes.
Okay. Did you understand everything that was on the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes.
All right, I find a factual basis to accept your plea to all 3 counts. I'll adjudicate you guilty on each count, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days time served. All of those will run concurrent. And I'll order you pay your court costs by June 12th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. I'm not going to revoke your release. I want you to continue reporting to pretrial release on your other case.
Okay. Thank you. Do I go home? Thank you.
All right, please tell me your name.
Demetrius Hackney.
Sorry. Mr. Hackney?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Hackney, you're here in 2020 MM 4289AO. You were arrested for trespass on property after warning and petty theft. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in your case. Ms. Kenny Swanson, did the state have an offer?
We did not, Your Honor.
Okay. So your case is not going to get resolved today, Mr. Hackney. My guess is because of your prior history. And the state may be able or may intend to upgrade that to a felony.
But no objection to ROR, just no return, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Mr. Hackney, you are not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred at Wawa, 3100 South Orange Avenue. Abide by the indefinite trespass warning. You cannot go back there.
Yes, ma'am.
Not to have any contact with any victims or witnesses in the case. If you go back there, you're probably going to get arrested.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're already out on release on another case. So that's not a good idea to go back there. I'm not going to revoke the release on the other case. And I will ROR you on the trespass and the petty theft.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
I'll let you know if I see you, Mr. Hackney, and I see that you're out on release on these two cases again. It's not going to be a good day.
Yes, ma'am. That's it. Thank you.
That's it. Thank you, sir. All right, good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Kiero Henson.
All right, Mr. Hinton, you're here in 2020 MM 4293AO. It's a possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. You also have 2020 MO 699, disorderly conduct, and I find probable cause and appoint the PD. Was there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. Withhold and credit for time served on both cases.
All right. Ms. Manikia, do you know if Mr. Hinton wants to do that?
Just a moment, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. He's willing to
All
take the
right.
offer.
Okay. All right. Mr. Hinton, did you read the plea form before you came into court?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Did you understand everything on that plea form?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand all the rights that you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, Your Honor.
All right. You understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, the pleas will subject you to deportation.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I do find a factual basis to accept your pleas to both cases, and I will withhold adjudication on each case and those counts. Sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days time served. Order you pay your court costs in each case by June 12, 2021. That gives you a year. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you, and no action on the out on release case. Make sure you keep in touch with your attorney and don't miss any upcoming court dates should you have any, okay?
Okay.
Good luck, sir.
All right, thank you.
Good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Good morning. I'm Rashawn Hutchins.
All right, Mr. Hutchins, you're here in 2020 MM 4292AO. You're arrested for petty theft. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Was there an offer?
There is no offer, but no objection to ROR, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Mr. Hutchins. Courtney, do you know if he qualified for pretrial?
He did not qualify for pre-trial.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Hutchins, there's no offer today. So you can't go back to the Walmart at 3101 West Princeton Street, and no contact with any victims in the case. And I'm going to ROR you on the charge. Make sure that you do not miss court or violate any of those conditions of release. Keep in touch with your attorneys. I'm going to order that you call them within 24 hours of your release, okay?
Okay, and when would I get my court date, like?
You'll get it when you get released. They're going to give you a court date, okay?
All right, okay. All right, thank you.
And I can tell you that it's July 14th at 7:30 a.m.? I don't know. Well, get with your attorney, make sure 7:30 a.m. is actually 7:30. Is that how early we're starting court now? Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Good morning, sir. Tell me your name.
Harold Eugene Ingram.
All right, Mr. Ingram, you're here in 2020 MM 4283 AO. You're arrested for trespass on property after warning. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the PD. Was there an offer, Ms. Kennedy Swanson?
Mr. Ingram is adjudication, credit for time served, no return.
Your Honor,
You want
he'd
to do
like
that, Mr. Ingram?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you read the plea form before you came into court?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything on that plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand all the rights that you're giving up when you enter the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
All right. Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I will adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days time served. You can't go back to that Family Dollar at 1340 West 4th Street. You got to abide by that trespass warning, okay?
Yes,
I'll
ma'am.
order you pay your court costs by June 12th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one would be appointed for you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket, Charles Jackson, refused.
Okay, we'll reset Mr. Jackson. He's gonna need to be IA'd anyway, and I don't know, was there an offer? It's a-
Adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, no return.
Okay, so Ms. Manikia, I believe he bonded out before his initial IA, when he was arrested. The bondsman came off the bond. So I'm gonna appoint the PD. I don't know if somebody wants to go talk to him about the offer, but I'll reset it for tomorrow, okay?
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Tedros Kabidi.
All right, Mr. Kabidi, you're here in 2020 MM 4295, and it's a trespass on property after warning. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. Was there an offer?
Adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, no return.
You want to do that, Mr. Kabidi?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, did you read the plea form before you came into court?
Yeah, but in my case, it means I'll probably go home today.
You will go home today. Did you
Oh.
read the plea form?
Yes, I've seen it before.
Okay, did you understand everything on it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No.
Okay, you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation.
I'm a U.S. citizen.
Okay. All right, I find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days time served. Cannot go back to 7-Eleven at 901 South Orange Blossom Trail. Abide by that trespass warning. I'll order you pay your court costs by June 12, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one would be appointed for you, sir.
Yes,
Good
Your
luck.
Honor.
Huh?
Thank you.
Good morning. Can you tell me your name, please, sir?
Brian David King.
All right, Mr. Keene, you're here in 2020 MM 499 AW. It's a petty theft. and I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. Was there an offer?
No, Your Honor, but no objection to RRR.
Okay, Mr. Keen, the state doesn't have an offer for you today, and so you are not to return back to the Walmart at 10500 West Colonial Drive. No contact with any victims or witnesses, and abide by the trespass warning. And I am going to release you on your own recognizance. Need to make sure that everybody has your correct address. You don't miss any court dates, okay? 24
ma'am.
hours, get in touch with the public defender's office and make sure they know how to get in touch with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. All right, sir, please tell me your name.
Robert Arce.
All right, Mr. Arce. You're here in 2020 MO 700. It's an open container violation, and I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. And Ms. Kenny Swanson, is there an offer?
Sorry, withhold credit for time served.
Mr. Arce, do you want to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, did you read the plea form before you came into court?
Yes, I did.
Did you understand everything on that plea form?
Yes, I did, Judge.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, I'm not.
All right, you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation.
Yes, I'm a citizen.
All right, I find a factual basis. I'll accept your plea, withhold adjudication, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days' time served. What just happened? Are you guys there?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, that was really weird. Okay. Did you miss anything that it just cut off and then came back up, so.
We see you now, Judge. We wasn't seeing you.
Okay.
We heard you, but we didn't see you.
Okay, you could still hear me? Okay.
Yeah, and we see you now, too.
Okay, hi. All right. Okay. And so I'll order you pay your court costs by June 12th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one would be appointed for you. Mr. Arce, we see you a lot.
I know I was doing good for a little bit, but
I know.
it's
you
difficult. I'm still struggling out there.
were. Okay. Well,
Okay.
good luck. Be safe out there.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Good morning, sir. Tell me your name.
Tony Chandler.
All right, Mr. Chandler, you're here in 2020 MO 701. You are arrested for disorderly conduct. I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the PD. Was there an offer?
A withhold credit for time served.
All right, it's a withhold credit for time served. Do you want to do that, Mr. Chandler?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you read the plea form?
Yes, I did.
Did you understand everything on that plea form?
Yes, I did.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
Okay. You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation.
Yes.
All right. I do find a factual basis to accept your plea. I'll withhold adjudication, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days' time served. Order you pay your court costs by June 12th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment, sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one would be appointed for you, sir. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir. Tell me your name.
Good morning, ma'am. Sebastian Lewis Martin Fernandez.
All right, Mr. Fernandez, you're here in 2020 MO 702. It's a disorderly conduct, and I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. Is there an offer?
Withhold credit for time served.
All right. Do you want to do that, Mr. Fernandez?
I accept time served, ma'am.
It's time served.
Yes, ma'am.
And a withhold.
I accept.
Okay. Did you read the plea form before you came into court?
Yes, I did, ma'am.
Did you understand everything on that plea form?
Yes, I did, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
Negative. No probation, ma'am.
Negative. Okay. All right. And do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
I understand, ma'am.
Okay. I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll withhold adjudication, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days' time served. Order you pay your court costs by June 12, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you, sir. Good luck.
Thank you, ma'am, for the mercy of the court. Thank you.
All right. Good morning, sir. Tell me your name.
Nelson Figueroa.
All right, Mr. Figueroa, you're here in 2020 MO 703. It's an open container violation, and I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. Is there an offer?
Withhold credit for time served.
Mr. Figueroa, it's a withhold and credit for time served. Do you want to resolve your case today?
Yes.
Okay. Did you read the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you understand everything on that plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand all the rights that you're giving up by
Yes.
entering the plea? Are you on probation anywhere?
Nope.
Okay. You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation.
All right.
I'm sorry?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll withhold adjudication, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days' time served. Order you pay your court costs by June 12, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one would be appointed for you, sir.
All right.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Travis Hawkins.
Mr. Hawkins, you're here in 2020 MO 704. It's a disorderly conduct, and I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the PD. Is there an offer?
Withhold credit for time served.
Do you want to do that, Mr. Hawkins?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you read the plea form before you came in the courtroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything on that plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll withhold adjudication, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days' time served. Order you pay your court costs by June 12, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one would be appointed for you, sir. Good luck. All right. Good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Stephen McCarter.
All right, Mr. McCarter, you're here in 2020 MO 705. It's disorderly conduct, and I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. Is there an offer?
Withhold credit for time served.
Mr. McCarter, it's a withhold credit for time served. Do you want to do that today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you read the plea form before you came in the courtroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything contained in the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand all those rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
All right. You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I find a factual basis to accept your plea. I'll withhold adjudication, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days' time served. Order you pay your court costs by June 12, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment, sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one would be appointed for you, sir. Good luck. Good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Jose Rivera.
Mr. Rivera, you're hearing 2020 MO 706. It's disorderly conduct. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Was there an offer?
Withhold credit for time served.
And Your Honor, he is on a violation of parole from North Carolina.
Okay. So are you, is he being held on that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Mr. Rivera, you have a hold out of, you said North Carolina,
Yes, Your Honor.
for a violation of parole.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, Ms. Manikia, I don't know if he wants to resolve the case today. I don't know what the basis of the violation is. Do we know if it's this arrest?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay. Well, it says that you have a fugitive warrant out of North Carolina, so it's not based on this arrest. So, Ms. Manikia, I don't know if you want to resolve the case today.
If I could just have a moment, Your Honor.
Sure.
Yeah.
Seems as though he may have already been violated. I don't know what's going on there.
Yes, Your Honor, he'd like to accept the offer.
Okay, so I need to ask you some questions. Mr. Rivera, can you raise your right hand to be sworn in? You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I swear.
Okay, you can put your hand down now. And so, you're on probation in North Carolina, or parole in North Carolina, and they have already violated you for something, and I don't know what, but you have a warrant for that. And the state's made an offer on this disorderly conduct. You still, knowing that you're on parole and that this could be an additional violation, and I don't know what's going to happen with your parole, you still want to accept the offer and resolve this case today.
Sorry, just a moment, Your Honor. Your Honor, he does not want to accept the offer.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Rivera, there's no conditions of release.
Are they going to, court resume, they're going to extradite him to North Carolina?
Our classification department will get in contact with North Carolina and they'll tell them.
I have no objection to ROR. I just don't know if he wants to be RR or he wants to, handle this case first, and then I don't know what he.
Yeah. I mean, I would release you ROR, Mr. Rivera, but you're still going to be held, so you're not getting any time.
So I'm confident that the city is going to charge it. They're going to make the same offer,
Right.
I didn't hear you.
I'm sorry.
I didn't hear what you say.
Okay, what I'm saying is that if I release you ROR, which means that you would be released on this case, but you're still being held on the other case, okay, out of North Carolina. I don't know whether they're going to come and get you or not, but if you're released on this case, you're not getting any time on it. Chances are that the city does file on it. It would be credit for time served anyway. So,
I'll tell you that. Because I know I'm going to get extradited because it's an open sentence.
okay, I don't know what's going on with your other case. I can't tell you. I'll ROR you on this case, but you're still obviously being held on the other case until they release that or come and pick you up, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket, Angel Capolet Santiago, refuse.
Okay, thank you. All right, so he's refused to come to the initial appearance, voluntarily absenting himself. I find that to be a waiver. I'll appoint the public defender in both of the cases.
Your Honor, we'll waive his appearance.
All right, so it's 2020 MM 4235AO, resisting an officer without violence, and I do find probable cause. 2020 CF 7223AO, possession of heroin, and I find probable cause. The PD's been appointed. And the bond on the misdemeanor will stay at $500. On the felony, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, and the bond will stay at $1,000. I won't take any action on the out on release misdemeanor. He does have the PD. Huh? Refusal. All right, good afternoon, or almost afternoon. Tell me your name.
Marcus Dallas.
All right, Mr. Dallas, you're here in 2020 CF 7262AO. It's possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. There's 2 counts of that. Possession of ammunition by a convicted felon. Possession of a controlled substance with a weapon. Possession of cannabis more than 20 grams with a weapon. Possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver with a weapon. Possession of oxycodone, possession of cannabis more than 20 grams, possession of a firearm by a violent career criminal, resisting an officer without violence, and carrying a concealed weapon. And I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I'll appoint the PD to represent you in that case, as well as in 2020 CF 7253AO. In that case, you're arrested for driving with a suspended license as a third subsequent offender, and then also driving with license revoked as a habitual offender. There's PC for both of those offenses as well, and I'll appoint the PD. There was a bond correction on the first case on count 6. The bond should be $15,000. So this is what I'm going to do for bond purposes before I get there. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, no weapons or firearms or any ammunition, and you must not drive without a valid driver's license. So I'm going to adjust some of these bonds here. Bond on count 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are $150. Bond on count 6 will be at the $15,000, which is the corrected bond. Count 7, count 8. Count 7 and 8 are $150. Count 9, it will stay at $10,000. Count 10, $100. Count 11, $150. In 20 CF 7253, the bond on count 1 will remain at $2,500. Count 2 will be $150. All right, thank you, sir. Good morning. Tell me your name.
Great.
All right, Mr. Gray, you're here in 2020 CF 7245AO. You're charged with attempted burglary of a conveyance and resisting an officer without violence. If you find probable cause, then I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. No return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. No contact with any victims or witnesses in the case. I will stay the bond at $1,000 and $150, and if he qualifies for pretrial release after being interviewed, I would have no objection to pretrial release. Unless he's been interviewed since this morning.
He has not been.
Okay. So if you wish to be released on pretrial release, sir, you'll have to get interviewed. Okay.
Okay.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket, Rostrun John Pierre, bonded.
All right. Thank you. Take no action. Good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Good morning. Cherie J. Johnson.
All right, Ms. Johnson, you're here in 2020 CF 7247AO. You were arrested for possession of cocaine and possession of cannabis, more than 20 grams. I find probable cause for count 1. and I find probable cause for possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. So not more than 20. So I think that's 893.13, subsection 6, subsection B. So that's less than 20 grams. And so no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I'm going to place you on pretrial release, ma'am. Make sure that you keep in touch with the public defender's office. You don't miss any court dates, okay?
I didn't have any. What's wrong?
All right, and Joseph bonded, 200-13622.
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. We'll take no action. All right, good morning, tell me your name.
Good morning, Carl Lamarique.
All right, Mr. Lamarique, you're here in 2016 CF 6783GO, and it's a failure to appear for a pretrial conference on February 28, 2018, and the judge did revoke your release. Does he have the PD? No? Okay. Private attorney? Okay. You have a private attorney in the case, sir?
Yes, David Bigney.
Okay. Get in touch with Mr. Bigney, and he'll have to file a motion to set bond in the case, okay?
There is no, I was on bond, but I'm BOP custody. I just
Right.
came back from the BOP today. I've been in the BOP since 2017.
Okay.
So
Well, he's gonna have to file a motion in order to get you a bond on this case. I don't know anything about what's going on with the other stuff, or if you're still being held on something.
Oh,
Okay, but
this is
I
a new
can't
case?
change-
This is not
I
the,
can't,
pardon self.
the
this is
only
not-
case that I have is a 2016 case in front of me.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. Just
Right.
to appear so I could go to trial in the,
Well,
in the
you
big
have
court.
you have no bond.
Yeah,
So
I
in
know.
order to get a bond, Mr. Bigney will have to file a motion in in Division 14 to get you a bond.
yeah, no, I don't need no bond. Thank you, though.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Marcus Mack.
All right, Mr. Mack, you're here in 2020 CF 7233AO. You're arrested for grand theft, third degree of a motor vehicle, burglary to an unoccupied structure, 2 counts of that, and 2 counts of criminal mischief over 1,000. And I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. No return back to the location of where the offense is alleged to have occurred. 1258 38th Street. No contact with any victims or witnesses at that location. The bond will stay, the bond will stay at 1,000 on count 1.
Your Honor, would the
Count-
court, I'm sorry to interrupt, would the court work with the bond reduction or ROR? Because even though Mr. Mack has a criminal history, he has 0 failure to appears.
Well, he has a conviction in 2018 for a violation of probation for grand theft.
No, it was 2015. That was a.
He does not qualify for pretrial release.
He does not qualify, Your Honor.
I'm gonna stay the bonds. I've read the facts, and so I understand your argument, Ms. Manikia, but I'm gonna stay the bond. It actually should be a higher bond because count 2 should actually be the primary offense, and it's not. So I'll stay the bond at 1,000, 150, 150, 150, and 150. thank you. All right, please tell me your name.
Elias David Martinez.
Mr. Martinez, you're here in 2020 CF 7240AO. You were arrested for driving, license suspended as a third subsequent offender and resisting an officer with violence.
So
And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in your case. No driving without a valid driver's license, no weapons or firearms or any ammunition, and the bond will stay at $2,500 and $100. You're out on release on multiple cases. I said 100. I'm sorry. Count two's 150. I apologize.
No objection and no action, Your Honor.
So you've got two that have not been filed on, and two files with informations. Mr. Martinez, it's not looking good for you. You've got a lot of cases going on. So if you come back and I see you, chances are I'm gonna revoke all your bonds.
I got you. I completely understand.
You can't drive without a valid driver's license.
And I'm actually dealing with that because I got 3 in my.
Okay, well, I don't want you to say anything. Just know that if I see you again,
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
all right, please tell me your name.
Cleveland McCall.
Mr. McCall, you're here in 2020 CF 7251AO. Possession of cocaine with intent to sell or deliver, possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and tampering with physical evidence. And I do find probable cause for those offenses, as well as the on-view violation of probation out of Osceola County and another one out of Osceola County as well. And I'll appoint the public defender. I'll appoint them on all 3 cases for you. The bonds will stay at $15,000. Count 2 will be $150. Count 3 will be $100. Count 4 will be $150. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. The bonds on the violations of probation will stay at none. You'll see Judge Whitehead. Will we see Judge Whitehead for Osceola? I don't know. Probably not. So the PDs, you'll have to bond out on this case, and then maybe they'll transport you to Osceola. I'm not sure. But the PD's office has been appointed, so they'll be able to figure out what they can do for you. Okay? All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Stephen Thomas Nielsen.
All right, Mr. Nielsen, you're here in 2019 CF 8592. You're
Yes.
arrested pursuant to a warrant which probable cause was previously found for failing to report your name or residence change as a sexual offender. And I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You do have reporting requirements. You need to make sure you comply with those. The bond was set at $1,000, and I'll keep that set at $1,000. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
My name is Anthony Perez.
All right, Mr. Perez, you're here in a couple cases. 2020 CF 4122AO. It's a warrant. Probable cause was found for retail theft by coordinating with others, and then grand theft, 3rd degree. And I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in the case. You're not to return to any Walmart. None, no Walmarts. And the bond will stay at $1,000 on each count. In 2020 CF 2305AO, it's a warrant, grand theft, 3rd degree. And you're not to return to any Lowe's. So So no Walmart and no Lowe's. And the bond is set at $500, or it'll stay at $500, and the PD's appointed. All right, please tell me your name.
Ante Reese.
All right, Mr. Reese, you're here in 2020 CF 7226. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was found for attempted first-degree murder. And I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. I believe it's an F1 punishable by 30 years.
We have 1 second, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
So is this the correct face sheet? And it said something about NCIC won't run?
I can check and see if he has any out of state history. But he doesn't have any.
It says New York criminal history, but then it just doesn't say what it is.
Your Honor, we'd request the court to set a reasonable bond based on his lack of criminal history.
Trying to find out what that is.
It's saying that he has New York history, but it's not coming back with the information for New York.
Okay. All right, Mr. Reese, you are not to return back to the Lake Underhill Park.
Yes.
That is 4355 Lake Underhill Road. So don't go back to the park. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. No weapons, no firearms, no ammunition. No contact with any victims or any witnesses in the case. The bond on count 1 will be $30,000. Count 2 will stay at $3,500.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket, William Rivera, is in the hospital.
Okay. Will reset within 24 hours of release from the hospital. All right, please tell me your name.
Gilmore Robinson.
All right, Mr. Robinson, you're here in 2020 CF 7249AO. You're arrested for possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver, possession of cannabis more than 20 grams, resisting an officer without violence. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender in 2020 CT 3762AO. You were arrested for no valid driver's license, and there's probable cause, and I'll appoint the PD. So no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, and you cannot drive without a valid driver's license. Is he being held on a parole?
Yes, Your Honor, from Texas.
Okay. All right. So the bond will stay at 1,000, 150, and 100, and then 500 on the no valid.
So no bond or what? So won't
All right. Good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Courtney Ryan Rozier.
All right. Rozier?
Yes, ma'am. Rosaire, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Rozier, okay. Mr. Rozier, you're here in 2019 CF 66. Just 66? Okay, 66AO. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was found for failing to report or check in within 30 days as a transient sexual offender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in that case. You do have reporting requirements that I have to advise you of. The bond will stay at $1,500. You also have 2020 MM 4296AO, and that's a possession of cannabis less than 20 grams and providing false ID to law enforcement. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
No, Miss Kennedy Swanson, was there an offer to resolve the misdemeanor?
I will do a withhold credit for time served. I didn't convey it, but that's fine.
For count 2, or I don't know what you're...
Yes, on count 2.
Okay,
No objection to court dismissing count 1.
so, okay, so count 1, you want me to dismiss, and you're offering a withhold and credit for time served on count 2.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Miss Manikia, do you know if he wants to do that?
Yes, Your Honor, he'd like to accept the offer.
Okay, and then, Mr. Rozier, did you receive a plea form before you came into court at all?
No, Your Honor, he just.
Okay. I need you to be able to read that plea form for me.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, did you understand everything on the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand all those rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere? I know I asked you that, but I'm asking you again.
Say it again, Your Honor.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
Okay. You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry?
You said, did I hear
Not a
you?
if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation. Do you
No,
understand?
I am a U.S. citizen, ma'am.
Okay. All right. I do find a factual basis to accept your plea to count 2 of the providing false ID to law enforcement. And
Yes,
I will withhold adjudication. Is it 1 day?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sentence you to 1 day with credit for 1 day time served. And I'll order that you pay your court costs by June 12, 2021. Count 1, based on the plea agreement pursuant to the state, they're asking me to dismiss count 1. I'll dismiss count 1. And if you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one would be appointed for you, sir. Good luck. All right. Good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Peter Saldana, Your Honor.
Okay, you're here in 2020 CF 5164AO. You're arrested pursuant to a capias, and probable cause was found for burglary of a structure, grand theft third degree, and criminal mischief. The state did file an information with those same charges, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You're not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred, nor are you to have any contact with any victim witness or any co-defendant. That location is the Lockhart Lions Club at 7401 Edgewater Drive. And he has not been interviewed for pretrial release, correct?
He won't be interviewed because it's a warrant when it came in.
Right, but I thought that...
Not since COVID, we're not interviewing anymore.
Okay.
Did you want him interviewed?
Yeah, I mean, if he qualifies, he has, the only criminal history he has is a battery in 2016.
Your Honor,
No
would
failures to appear.
would the court consider ROR based on his 0 failure to appears?
I'd rather him be on pretrial release, but, are you, where are you living, Mr. Saldana?
Edgewater Shores, Your Honor. 7147 Edgewater Shores Court.
Who do you live with?
My mother, my sister, my stepfather, and my uncle and cousin.
Do you work?
I was working, Your Honor, and I lost my job because I had to quit it. They weren't giving me the proper payment of what I was making, and they were cutting my check, saying that I wasn't making money that I was making.
Where was that? Where were you working?
It was Popeyes down the road.
Popeyes?
Yeah, yes, Your Honor.
All right, and then how long have you lived in Florida?
All my life, Your Honor.
And you live with your mom and your family?
Yes, ma'am.
How are you gonna get to court?
I will ride a bus or find a ride. I have family.
Okay. All right, Mr. Saldana, I'm gonna release you on your own recognizance.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Within 24 hours, I want you to get in touch with the public defender's office. Make sure that they know how to get in touch with you so that you do not miss any court dates. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Follow all of the conditions of release. If you get rearrested, that release could be revoked, okay?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, please tell me your name.
Russell Sperlin.
All right, Mr. Sperlin, you're here in 2020 CF 7252AO. It's possession of methamphetamine and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I'll appoint the public defender. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I am going to stay the bond at 1,000 and 100. I'm not taking any action on the out on release case, and information was filed in that case, so I don't know if you have any upcoming court dates or not. But you need to keep in touch with your. Does he have the PD in that case?
I have been keeping in touch with the bondsman on the
Okay.
bonded out case already.
Do you want me to appoint the public defender for you in that case?
That's fine.
Do you have an attorney?
I do not.
I know, so I'm saying so that you do.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to appoint the public defender in 2020 MM 1478AO. Again, there was an information filed, so you may have to go to court soon. So call the
That's
public
fine.
defender.
Thank you.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket, Ryan Stuckey, is in the hospital.
Okay. I'm not going to address it. I'm going to reset it, but I just wanted to note that one of the out on bond cases, the 2020 CF 6587AO, when I looked it up in Odyssey, it only showed the complaint, and the face sheet here, as well as the FAD, shows that he bonded out, and there's no IA paperwork, there's nothing in there, so I don't know if.
The 6587 one, Your Honor?
Huh?
6587?
6587. All it shows is the complaint, and so I don't know if Odyssey needs to be updated to reflect anything that happened on the case since the arrest. But there was nothing in there. So, So what I'm going to do is reset Mr. Stuckey within 24 hours of his release from the hospital. Did you see that? Okay. No, it was very strange to me. So nothing's in the system. He apparently bonded. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Deion Sykes.
Mr. Sykes,
Yes, ma'am.
you're here in 2020 CF 7244AO. It's possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver, and possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. And I do find probable cause. And I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in that case. So no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. The bond will stay at 1,000 and 100. 2020 CF 5526. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was found for battery on a law enforcement officer, possession of a concealed weapon or firearm by convicted felon,
I'm not a felon,
and
ma'am.
resisting an officer without violence. And I'll appoint the public defender in that case to represent you as well. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition, and no contact with any victims in the case. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. Mr. Sykes,
Yes, ma'am.
you now have 4 cases.
Ma'am,
Just listen.
I'm sorry.
You've got 4 cases. I could revoke your release on the 2 cases that you're out on bond for the cannabis charge.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not going to do that today. Listen. But if you come back and you have a 5th case, I don't care what judge is here, they're probably going to revoke your bond.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you don't want that to happen, then I would stay home.
Thank you.
Did I gave the bond amounts, correct?
Yes. Oh, and not for the
Yeah,
second.
not on 2020 CF 5526, Your Honor.
On the warrant?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, thanks, Dan. All right, so the bond on count 1 is 1,500, count 2 is 5,000, and count 3 is 100. Sorry about that. All right, tell me your name, please.
Jolene Taylor.
All right, Ms. Taylor, you're here in 2020 CF 7221AO. It's an aggravated battery and a battery, and I do find probable cause.
Your Honor, she qualifies for PTR.
Yeah. So, we had some question today. I know I spoke with Ms. Custon about the public defender because our admin order says that the PD is to be appointed on every case without an affidavit, and now you all are filling out affidavits, which I'm not sure why, because Mr. Wesley had, I guess, indicated to Judge Myers that he just wanted the PD to be appointed and not for anyone to fill out any affidavits. So we're going to have to all, I guess, have a discussion about that. But he's not qualifying for the public defender, but based on the admin order, I have been emailed and advised that I need to be appointing the public defender.
Okay.
So I don't know why we're filling out the forms then. So we'll have to figure that out. But I'm going to appoint the public defender in the case, even though the form indicates that he does not, or she does not qualify. So, Ms. Taylor, no weapons, no firearms, no ammunition, no contact with any victim or witness in the case. And you do qualify for pretrial release. I'm going to place you in that program. Make sure you comply with that. Don't get rearrested for anything, okay? All right, please tell me your name.
Jason Thomas.
All right, Mr. Thomas, you're here in 2020 CF 5898AO. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was found for petty theft, 2 prior convictions. You're not to return back to the Chase Bank at 200 Citrus Tower Boulevard, nor are you to return to the victim's residence as named in the arrest affidavit. And the bond will stay at $2,000. In 2020 CF 6879AO, it's petty theft 2 priors pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was found, and I'll appoint the PD in that case as well. Not to return back to the victim's residence as named in the affidavit, and the bond will stay at $1,500. And you've also got 2020 CF 7218AO, trafficking in heroin, more than 4 grams, less than 14 grams, possession of heroin with intent to sell or deliver, possession of methamphetamine, and possession of cannabis, less than 20 grams. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the PD to represent you in that case as well. No weapons, firearms, ammunition, no contact with any witnesses in the case, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. And he's being held on out of county stuff too.
It's an uttering of false instrument. The bond is $2,000 for Lake County.
Okay, it says also that also the active warrant for Orange is what he was arrested on. Are you working, Mr. Thomas?
No, ma'am, I just had surgery.
What kind of surgery?
I had my stomach removed.
Oh, okay. All right, I am going to set the bond. I'm going to reduce it to $50,000 on count 1. Count 2 will stay at $150. Count 3, $150. Count 4, $150, and count 5, $100. Sorry. All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Nicholas Williams Richburg.
All right, sir. You're here in 2020 CF 7238. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was found for burglary of a conveyance, criminal mischief, and petty theft. And I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. No contact with any victim or witness in the case. You're also not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. That's the home to suites located at 2800 Destination Parkway. And where do you live, Mr. Williams Richburg?
1617 Ravenall Avenue.
Is that, where is that?
Ravenall, Orlando, Florida.
In Orlando?
Yes.
How long have you lived there?
I'm gonna start living there when I get out. That's my grandmother's house.
Okay. And then how long have you lived in Orlando?
My whole life.
Do you work?
I've been incarcerated since March 4th.
Okay. So you're here on something else?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have a bond in that case?
I EOS on Sunday.
Huh?
He's been sentenced.
Okay. When is your sentence over?
On Sunday.
Okay. So I'm going to ROR you on this case, sir. Need to make sure that when you finish your sentence, you get in touch with the public defender's office. You let them know your new address, because I don't think that's the address that's in the system. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And so that any notice, you don't miss court.
Okay.
Don't get rearrested. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Please tell me your name.
Christina Marie R.C.
All right, Ms. RC, you're here in 2017 CF 15650. It's an on-view violation of probation. And I do find probable cause for the on-view violation of probation. I'll appoint the public defender. That bond will stay set at none at this time. You'll see Judge Whitehead for an arraignment on that case. In 2020 MM 4288AO, it's a petty theft. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. You cannot return back to the 7-Eleven at 5284 South Orange Blossom Trail or have any contact with any victim or witness, and you must abide by the trespass warning. That bond will stay set at $500. All right, thank you.
The next person on the docket, Your Honor, is Alicia Brand, Downtown Court.
All right, we'll reset. Tell me your name, please.
Jeff Gorg.
Mr. Gord, you're here in 2020, or 2019, excuse me, CF 1405. It's an on-view violation of probation based on this new law offense in 2020 CT 3761. And I find probable cause for that, the VOP as well as the driving while license suspended. And I'll appoint the public defender in both of the cases to represent you. You cannot drive without a valid driver's license. The bond will be stayed at none on the VOP. The driving while license suspended will stay at $500. The public defender was appointed. They can file any appropriate motions, but you'll see Judge Whitehead in a couple days. Tell me your name, please.
Jamal Johnson.
All right, Mr. Johnson, you're here in 2017 CF 13522AO. It's a violation of community control based on a warrant. The judge did set your bond at none. I'll appoint the public defender. You'll see Judge Whitehead in a couple days for your arraignment in that case, okay?
But ma'am, if I have a 4-month-old that I'm the sole guardian to, there isn't a way I can get.
Unfortunately, you're a violent felony offender of special concern, so even if I wanted to give you a bond, I would not be able to do so under the law. So you're going to have to see Judge Whitehead, okay?
Okay.
And that will be in a couple days, I'm sure. Do we know what date?
Okay.
Please tell me your name.
David Ranky.
Mr. Reiki, you're here in 2018 CF 8747. It's an on-view violation of probation. And that's based on the new law offense in 2020 CF 7237AO. There's probable cause for the on-view violation of probation. And I'll appoint the public defender in both cases for you. The other one is a warrant. And PC was found for failing to register the transient address. So that bond will stay at $1,000. You do have reporting requirements that I do need to advise you of. Your bond on the VOP will be stayed at none at this time. You'll see Judge Whitehead for the VOP arraignment in a couple of days. All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Gregory Richardson, man.
All right, Mr. Richardson, you're here in 2013 CF 3762AO. It's a violation of probation. The judge did set the bond at none, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You'll see Judge Whitehead for your arraignment in a couple of days. You do have a hold for Volusia County, so.
I have a wedding, Volusia County. Oh, okay.
All right, thank you. All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Alicia Story.
All right. Ms. Story, are you here in 2019 CF 145? Is that a 0 or an O? Huh? 1450. And it's a violation of probation. The Judge Whitehead did set your bond at none. And are you, I don't have a public defender form. You want me to appoint the PD for you?
I think that I have a lawyer, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. Was your family talking to somebody?
Yes.
Do you know when that was, or if they've?
Yeah, I actually spoke with them yesterday, and I'm supposed to have a lawyer.
No one? You don't know who it is?
Scott Richardson.
Okay, well, they haven't filed a notice of appearance yet, but because you've indicated that to me, you're gonna see Judge Whitehead in a couple days for your arraignment. Get in touch with Mr. Richardson, okay?
Okay.
And then you can address everything with Judge Whitehead when you see him, but I won't appoint the PD because you're telling me that you're hiring an attorney, okay?
Okay.
Oh, okay. So, Mr. Johnson, who we just previously saw, an attorney has filed notice of appearance in those, in how many cases did he have? One case. So, we're gonna strike the PD appointment on Mr., was it Johnson? On Mr. Jamal Johnson. Ms. Manikia, just letting you know.
Thank you.
Okay? All right. All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Martin Cruz Jr.
All right, Mr. Cruz, you're here on a Brevard County warrant, and the judge did set numerous bonds for you in that case. So what I'm going to do is appoint the public defender here to represent you, and they're going to, or our judge here, if you can't make these bonds, a judge here will reach out to the judge in Brevard County to see if those bonds will get reduced. In the meantime, the bonds on the warrant are set at $50,000. Count 2, 3, 4, and 5 are set at $25,000. Count 6 and 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 are set at $12,500. Count 14, 15, 16, 17 are set at $7,500. Count 18, 19, 20 are set at $5,000. Count 21 through 20 or 40 or 56. So from count 21 to 56, the bonds are set at $2,000 on each of those counts. So as I stated, somebody will reach out if you're unable to make those bonds. Okay, we'll see if they'll get reduced or not.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, but I did appoint the PD here for you, so if you have questions, you can call the phone number.
Okay, thank you. I do have an attorney though. Yeah, I have a private attorney. So I need that. No.
All right, please tell me your name.
Donna Marie Dotson.
Do we know what happened to Sharnique Devine?
She bonded out. I'm sorry.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, so no action on Miss Devine. And you said Dotson?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, Miss Dotson, you're here on a Seminole County warrant. Looks like 2 Seminole County warrants. One case has no bond on each count, and the other case has a $500 bond. I'm going to appoint the PD to represent you here. We're appointing the PD because they're not transporting people. One of the judges here will reach out to the judge in Seminole with regards to the no bonds.
Okay, go ahead.
I can't change that.
Right, I had talked to Julia O'Kane yesterday. I had completed my Orange County case here, and she had said the same thing, something to that effect, so.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
she's, I think She may be one of the judges that does that reaching out. I'm not sure, but there's some judges here that will do that. So you'll probably end up back on the docket here in a couple days, okay?
Okay, thank you so very much,
All right.
ma'am.
Thank you. Have a
You
good
have a
day.
good day.
All right, please tell me your name.
Jartavis Ingram.
All right, Mr. Ingram, you're here on an Osceola County warrant. The judge in Osceola set your bond on 2 counts at none and the 3rd count at $2,500. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and a judge here will reach out to a judge in Osceola to see about the bonds on count 1 and 2, and see if those, or 3, and see if those will be reduced. Okay, so you'll come back on the docket probably in a couple days, but I did appoint the public defender for you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's just strange. What happened? Well, but didn't they bond out back in May? Yeah, so we still haven't. All right, I know. You're just a messenger. All right, please tell me your name.
Jaquil Smith.
All right, Mr. Smith, you're here on a Hillsborough County warrant, or actually it's an on-view VOP, excuse me, for Hillsborough County. And that's based on the new law offenses that you were arrested for on June 9th, 2020, and there is probable cause for the violation of probation. So at this time, the bonds will be set at none. And I'll appoint the public defender here, and one of the judges here will reach out to Hillsborough County with relation to the bonds, okay, on the VOPs. But he may not be entitled to a bond.
Okay. That's it?
All right, thank you. All right, please tell me your name.
Santoria White.
All right, Ms. White, you're here on a Polk County warrant. The judge did set your bond at none in Polk County. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you here. And one of the judges in Orange County here will reach out to the judge in Polk County with regards to those bonds. Not taking any action on the out on release case here. I don't know what happened to Polk County. So just make sure that you keep in touch with whoever you need to keep in touch with, if it's the bondsman or any public defender, okay?
Oh, about court? You saying keep in touch with them about court?
About your, yeah, because you have a driving while license suspended case here. So you just want to make sure that if you're somewhere else, that your attorney knows that, okay?
Okay.
Like if you go back to Polk County, right?
So is Polk County doing any pickups, you know?
Well, they're not, I don't think they're transporting anyone now. That's why I appointed the PD here. And then one of the judges here will reach out to the Polk County judge, okay?
Okay, okay.
All right. All right. Anything else?
Thing from the state.
She's like, all packed up and ready to go. Anything from Miss Manikio over there?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you. We are done for the day. I'm just gonna.
Oh, can I have it? Oh, thank you. To Or you never know. Is it a secret? My husband works at one of the hospitals and he's saying the cases are going up by a lot. Sorry, I'll get out of here. Yeah. I know, yeah, if Letitia stands there, I'll stand there too. They can still see, I can't really see it there, but they can still see me, right? If I'm on the side. Okay, because they want to see me out.
I just don't, catching up, because.
You here on that one too, or no? No, okay.
Didn't realize that it was different county, one city.
Thank you.
And I don't even know who handles them.
Well, it's KPD.
Hmm?
I would imagine that would be, yeah, it's KPD. It says KPD.
Okay, well.
Good morning, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Tyrese Campbell, 02-17-01.
Thank you, sir. You're here this morning for an arraignment on a violation of curfew order. Ms. Carr, do you have any information on that?
No, Your Honor. I have Mr. Campbell on 20 MM 1280, which has not been filed yet. I don't have any other information about this violation of curfew in our system.
I'm just wondering why he's been sitting there for 18 days.
Your Honor, if you want, I can try to contact the city attorney's office.
Can you try to contact Ms. Dorn?
Yeah, is there an attorney listed on the docket, or is?
No.
Okay, I'll contact the city.
Okay. Thank you.
He's in there because MM.
Yeah, he might
Okay,
be
so
in
the
custody
days
on
that you have are for the MM, not necessarily the MO, or?
What happened was he was out on this MO case, but when he picked up the new thing, they revoked whatever, it must have been PTR or whatever.
Yeah, he has a new loitering and prowling and resisting without violence that he was arrested on, but no charges have been filed in that case yet. But I think that's why he's being held.
If you wouldn't mind calling, like if they want me to handle it, I know their normal course for the city violations is like a credit time served. If they want me to do that, I will. I mean, he's not going anywhere because he's in there on the MM case, but.
This was an MO for a curfew violation?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Your Honor, if it helps, he wanted to plead not guilty to this, so.
I don't know that it helps because I don't know that I'm taking an MO to trial. So, Mr. Campbell, I'm going to ask you to go back to the enclosure. We're going to try to get some answers from the city attorney, and I'm going to recall you, okay? Thank you. Put your mask back on. Joyce Garcia?
She has 2 cases.
Did you want us to sign a plea form, Your Honor?
No?
Okay, never mind then, we're good.
Hi, Your Honor.
Good morning. State your name and date of birth, please.
Joyce Garcia, 61092.
Ms. Garcia, you're here for arraignment on 2 matters. The first is trespass on property other than structure or conveyance. That's a first-degree misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year in jail, 1 year supervised probation, and a $1,000 fine. The second matter is resisting officer without violence, which is also a first-degree misdemeanor, punishable by up to 1 year in jail, 1 year supervised probation, and a $1,000 fine. So, Mr. King, what are we doing with this, being that you just asked me about a plea form?
I just didn't have her sign it. We went over all the things, but we just didn't sign.
So does that mean that she's pleading?
Yes, she would like to plead to these. Is there another open case or another charge?
Yes.
Yes, there's a second open, so the 2 charges are 20 MM 1086, that's the trespass. Then 20 MM 1113, that's the resisting. The offer is AG, credit time served, costs on both And then on the trespass, there's an additional requirement of no return to the scene.
Yeah, we went over that together already. There's not a third charge or case. That's what she was asking me about earlier. An open container maybe or something like that. A county ordinance violation. She's not being held on that.
I don't know, let us look.
Okay, thank you.
No.
It shows she's got a petty theft from 2019. But that's closed. You got anything else? No? We're not showing anything else, Mr. King.
Okay, we went over the terms of accepting the plea.
Ma'am, raise your right hand to be sworn, please.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give to be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You can lower your hand. Ms. Garcia, did you have the opportunity to review the plea form?
Yes.
Did you understand it?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about it?
No, Your Honor.
Did you have enough time to speak with the attorneys?
Yes.
Are you satisfied with their services?
Yes.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol which would impair your ability to understand the terms of the plea in which you're about to enter?
No, Your Honor.
Paragraph 3 sets forth your constitutionally protected rights, including but not limited to your right to a jury trial, your right to a speedy trial. Do you agree to waive those rights in exchange for the court accepting this plea today?
Yes.
If you are not a United States citizen, do you understand that by entering into this plea, it will be cause for deportation?
Yes.
In 20 MM 1086, based upon the court's review of the charging affidavit, I find there's sufficient factual basis to move forward. Ma'am, I'm going to find that you are alert and intelligent, that you're entering into this plea freely and voluntarily, and the court will accept it. The terms of the plea are an adjudication of guilt, 41 days in the Osceola County Jail with credit time served of 41 days, court costs in the amount of $273, and no return to Knights Inn located at 4651 West Earl Bronson Memorial Highway. Ma'am, I'm going to give you 90 days to pay the court costs. If you cannot pay that within the 90 days, then you'll need to go to the clerk's office and set up a payment plan. If you choose the payment plan route, they will charge you a convenience fee, and the first payment will be due that day. It's usually around $50, sometimes less, sometimes more. Do you have any questions regarding that case?
No, Your Honor.
You have 30 days in which to appeal. If you need the services of an attorney, you can apply to the court. If you qualify, one will be appointed to you. Now I'm going to turn to 2020 MM 1113. Based upon the court's review of the charging affidavit, I find there's sufficient factual basis to move forward. Ma'am, I'm going to find that you are alert and intelligent, that you're entering into this plea freely and voluntarily, and the court will accept it. The terms of the plea are an adjudication of guilt, 41 days in the Osceola County Jail with credit time served of 41 days, and court costs in the amount of $273. Again, I'm going to give you 120 days, so an additional 30 to pay that. If you can't get it paid, then you can set up a payment plan through the clerk's office. They will charge a convenience fee, and the first payment will be due that day. Do you have any questions regarding that case?
No, Your Honor.
You have 30 days in which to appeal. If you need the services of an attorney, you can apply to the court. If you qualify, one will be appointed to you. Good luck to you, Ms. Garcia. Have a good day.
Thank you, Your Honor. You too.
Were you able to get anyone? Yes, Michael Jameson.
Your Honor, Mr. Jameson, for his possession of drug paraphernalia case, read the drug diversion level 1 and signed the thing, just so the state's aware. That's the third case that he has.
You guys are doing it in reading, though?
No, we have a packet so they can do it, so they don't have to have it on their, stick to their record.
I'm aware, Mr. King. I'm asking the state some questions.
Sorry.
Good morning, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Michael Jameson, 4/21/1966.
Mr. Jameson, you're here for a couple of matters today. First, we have arraignment for panhandling, soliciting without a permit, which is a county ordinance violation. Then we have another charge of panhandling, soliciting without a permit, which is also a county ordinance charge. And then, of course, the possession of drug paraphernalia, which is a first-degree misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year in jail, 1 year supervised probation, and a $1,000 fine. counsel on behalf of the county.
Okay. Frank Townsend on behalf of the county, and I am here on, usually I'm just here on the solicitation without a permit, but if there's actually a company misdemeanor, then the state actually handles both.
Ms. Card.
They all have.
I think you just got it, I think you just got it punted to you.
Great.
I can handle the one charge if the state wants me to, but if there's another misdemeanor, I can't deal with that one.
Well, I think the state's getting ready to dispose of the misdemeanor,
So in case
which will
number,
leave it up to you, Mr. Townsend.
in case number 20 MM1325, state announces a null pros.
All right, misdemeanor officially taken care of.
Thank you.
Now we're back to the county attorney.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Townsend.
My offer is time served on the county ordinance violation.
Is that on both of them?
Yes, both would be time served concurrent. I think it's 27 days, I heard.
One of them is 2 days, one of them is 27.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Mr. King, is that something that you've discussed?
Yes, Your Honor, we talked about that, and he'd like to accept that offer for both the cases.
Mr. Jamison, raise your right hand to be sworn, please.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give to be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you, sir. You can lower your hand. Have you had the opportunity to review a plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have enough time to speak with the attorneys about it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with their services?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol which would impair your ability to understand the terms of the plea in which you're about to enter?
No, ma'am.
Paragraph 3 sets forth your constitutionally protected rights, including but not limited to your right to a jury trial, your right to a speedy trial. Do you agree to waive those rights in exchange for the court accepting this plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone forcing you to accept the county's offer?
No, ma'am.
If you are not a United States citizen, do you understand that by entering into this plea, it will be cause for deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Based upon the court's review of the charging affidavit in 2020 CO6, court's going to find that there is sufficient factual basis to move forward. So I'm going to find that you are alert and intelligent, that you're entering into this plea freely and voluntarily, and the court will accept it. The terms of the plea are an adjudication of guilt, 2 days in the Osceola County Jail with credit time served of 2 days, and court costs in the amount of $273. Mr. Jamison, I'm going to give you 120 days to pay that. If you can't get it paid within that amount of time, you'll need to set up a payment plan with the clerk's office before the end of that time. If you do a payment plan, they will charge you a convenience fee to process it, and the first payment will be due the day that you show up to make the payment plan. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
You have 30 days in which to appeal. If you need the services of an attorney, you can apply to the court. If you qualify, one will be appointed to you. Now I'm going to turn to 2020 CO8. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I find there's sufficient factual basis to move forward. I'm going to find that you are alert and intelligent, that you're entering into this plea freely and voluntarily, and the court will accept it. In terms of the plea, an adjudication of guilt, 27 days in the Osceola County Jail with credit time served of 27 days, and court costs in the amount of $273. That will also have the opportunity to pay within 120 days or to set up a payment plan. Do you have any questions regarding that case?
No, ma'am.
You have 30 days in which to appeal. If you need the services of an attorney, you can apply to the court. If you qualify, one will be appointed to you. Mr. Jamison, you gotta stay away from Centerview Boulevard and John Young Parkway, or you're just gonna keep coming back here, okay?
Okay, cool.
All right, have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Townsend.
I'll stick around for a few minutes.
Thank you.
Your Honor, if Miss Odell's next, she also completed the drug diversion level 1, read the form, read the packet, signed the form.
Okay, Ruth Odell? Good morning, ma'am. State your name and date of birth, please.
Ruth and Odell, 53081.
Thank you. State?
State announces a null pros, Your Honor.
Ms. Odell, the state just announced that they are going to dismiss this charge against you since you've completed the level 1 diversion program, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Eliza Rios Rodriguez? Oh, he's in Cosina. Huh? Yeah. Good morning, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Elisa Rios Rodriguez, 4/22/1980.
Thank you, sir. You're here for arraignment this morning for knowingly driving while license suspended. That is a second-degree misdemeanor punishable by up to 60 days in jail, 6 months probation, and a $500 fine. State, is there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor, the offer is adjudication of guilt, 25 days Osceola County Jail, and costs.
Mr. King, is that something that you guys have discussed?
Yes, Your Honor, we discussed it. He'd like to plead not guilty.
All right, it does not appear that you have been appointed to the case. Mr. Rodriguez, when was the last time you worked?
Right before I got arrested, like that week. I'm a plumber pipe fitter, so
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that last part.
I said I'm a plumber pipe fitter. I worked the last week before I came to jail.
Okay. We don't know how long he'll be in there, huh? I'm going to provisionally appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Provisionally means only temporarily. When you get out, you're currently being held on an Orange County case, but when you get out, if you return to appointment, then you'll need to update your application with the court for review. Mr. King, not guilty?
Not guilty, Your Honor. Thank you.
Matter be set for pretrial.
Thank you.
Thank you. I almost asked you a stupid question. I almost asked you a stupid question. I almost asked you what day it was.
Ay.
And it's stupid because yesterday was my son's birthday, so I should know what today is. Yadiel Torres?
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. State your name and date of birth, please.
Good morning. Yadiel Torres, 12/14/2000.
Thank you. Mr. Torres, you're here for arraignment on 2 charges. The first is domestic violence battery, which is a first-degree misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year in jail, 1 year supervised probation, a $1,000 fine. The second is violation of PTR conditions as a result of a domestic violence case, which is also a first-degree misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year in jail, 1 year supervised probation, and a $1,000 fine. State, was there an offer on this matter?
Yes, Your Honor, the offer is an adjudication of guilt, 240 days Osceola County Jail, and costs. And that is a global offer for 20 mm 1138 and 20 mm 662.
Okay.
I see Mr. King just clicked on that mute button. It killed him being over here and not being able to do that.
Aw.
It's a completely different atmosphere over there, you know? 'cause we
I
get
know,
lots of
I know,
friends
Mr.
and,
King. I can recall him if you guys want to talk a little bit. That resolves all 3 cases.
Was the felony case, is there still an open felony case as well?
My guess is it's probably been downgraded to MM, or
That's what I-
is there a separate one? No, there is an open felony case.
Talk to Ms. Perez.
What is that one?
Can we recall him, Your Honor?
Conveyance, petty theft, burglary of a conveyance.
The felony is burglaries of a conveyance. There's a couple charges for that and petty theft, so it's really not related to the domestic violence so much.
7 counts.
7 counts on the felony, Mr. King. Kevin Hernandez.
Mr. Lopez is not over there in the courtroom with you all, is he?
He is not.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Hernandez. State your name and date of birth, please.
Kevin Hernandez, December 18, 1992.
All right, Mr. Hernandez, you are here as a plea date certain. Mr. King, is Mr. Lopez handling that?
It was his case, and there's just an issue that I was not, that I just don't, I'm not unclear with.
All right.
Something that the prosecutor has, or, in the plea off, I have that it's concurrent. All three of these charges are supposed to be concurrent, credit time served, or what was the, could I get the offer like officially, and then we can go over the plea form with him and then call him back up? Just
Yes.
Because, I
Yes.
was just a little, on each one of the three cases, please, so that way I can.
We
I was
got
just
you, don't
confused.
worry. Go ahead, Ms. Card.
Okay, so the reason it's a little more complicated is this offer was worked out by the felony PD and the felony ASA. And so since we can't handle the felony charges, I'm just gonna list out what we have for the misdemeanor ones. So he has 2 VOPs that are in our division, 19 CT 2848 and 19 MM 2759. For those 2 VOPs, the offer is admit the violation, revoke and terminate probation, 8 months Osceola County Jail, and costs. And the VOPs run concurrent with one another. Then we have the 2 new laws in our division, 20 MM 258 and 20 CT 50. Those 2 new laws are running consecutive to the VOPs. And the offer for the 2 new laws is adjudication of guilt, 8 months Osceola County Jail, and costs. On 20 CT 50, it is an M2, so that would be credit time served. So basically, the plea to the VOPs are concurrent with one another, and the plea to the new laws are concurrent with one another, but
consecutive to the VOP.
exactly.
Okay.
Thank
You
you.
got all that, Mr. King, or do I need to break it down?
Okay, so, let me go over what I got, and you all can, if you don't mind, tell me where I'm wrong. Okay, so, 20 CT 50 is credit time served.
Correct.
Okay. 20 MM 35, 8, or 358,
358.
consecutive to VOP.
358 or
8 months
258?
OCJ.
358.
358, I wrote it down wrong, I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Because I wrote down.
Okay, do I,
Repeat that on the 358, Mr. King.
20 MM 358, adjudication of guilt, 8 months OCJ, consecutive to VOPs?
Correct.
Okay. Court costs. So, and then the VOPs. I've only got one VOP on the docket today. So, I've got 19 MM 2759, but I also wrote down 19 CT 2848. Okay. And the credit time served I have on, if we could also get a calculation of that also.
So on 2759, it's 192 days.
Okay, that's what I have here.
What do you got on 2848?
Well,
And then we'll need it for 358 as well.
358 and
Here, hold on.
50 are the same, 156. Let
tight.
me see on
The new law,
you.
358, is
Uh-huh.
156 days.
Yes.
I'm calculating right now for the.
And we're calculating on the 2848.
Cool, thank you.
Good morning, Ms. Dorn.
Judge, you don't need any information about the other 2 felony cases that were part of this, right? Okay. Thank you.
So I have information from probation.
Thank you.
$191.
2848 is 191.
And 191 on 2848?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Let me go over this stuff with him if you don't mind.
Not at all,
Your
Mr. King.
And then, are we ready on, who was the one that? Yeah, are we ready on me? Okay.
I'm ready on Tyrese Campbell.
Ellie, can you handle Torres while I?
Mr. Hernandez, if you'll just go have a seat, please. They're going to come talk to you.
Okay, so let's do some math first.
Good morning, sir. State your name and date of birth again, please.
Good morning. Yadiel Torres, 12/14/2000.
say
I'm looking for Tyrese Campbell.
Oh, Campbell? Sorry.
He's the one in the enclosure. I don't know how that happened.
Your Honor, Celia Thacker Dorn for the City of Kissimmee. I apologize, I did not know about the hearing.
Your Honor, on Campbell, did you guys confirm the information that you were looking to confirm?
I have the city attorney here.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yes.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Good morning again, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Tyrese Campbell, 02-17-01.
Thank you. Mr. Campbell, you are here for violation of curfew order, which is a city violation. Ms. Dorn?
The city has an offer for Mr. Campbell. It would be credit time served along with adjudication of guilt and court costs.
Ms. Perez, is that something that you all would like to discuss?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. I'll recall it.
Thank you.
Ms. Dorn, if you want to stick around, you can. If you don't, you don't have to. I figured that was the offer, but I didn't want to make that assumption, being that it's a different charge than what we normally have. So when Mr. Townsend offered, I'm like, yes, please. You don't have any other emails?
Well, apparently, through the county, they get the docket, or I'm assuming because after I emailed the docket, someone emailed me back, and I'm like, I had no clue who the person was. So I'm like, Taylor Raymond's means video. Like, I wasn't sure. I don't know who it was. And then they explained we have 2 cases on the docket. I'm like, oh, okay. But I don't have an email for. Okay, perfect. So whenever I see it, I know I can shoot you an email. Great, thank you. Perfect. Thank you so much.
You know, Diane, if I had continued to flip the book, then I would have known what some of those dates were on him. I had 2 more sheets behind it that I had.
Well, the CT's not on. Because the CT was set for the hearing.
Your Honor,
Yes, ma'am?
for the ordinance charge, you said you're not willing to set that for a pretrial at the moment?
I wasn't until I got the attorney here.
Okay, so he can move forward with a plea.
So he wants to take it to trial rather than plea out today and get out?
Is he not being held on his other cases? I believe he has a
I don't know.
GTA case. It's my understanding that he has a felony GTA case as well.
He's being held on the MM. Is he being held on the phone?
Give me 1 second.
And Ms. Perez, in the future, don't bring anyone up unless I call them.
Okay.
No,
What's he being
he
held on?
bonded on the felon.
He bonded on the felony. What about the MM?
Yes. He has a bond, $1,000.
And he has a bond on the misdemeanor of $1,000 if he chooses to bond out. So he's in on the misdemeanor simply because he has not bonded out.
Okay.
And they said that the MO the MO's 1,000. I don't know who did this.
The MO has a bond of 1,000.
Okay, so the MO's 1,000, and then 5, 6, 7, 750 on the MM 1280.
The MM 1280 is 750.
Yes, 500 count two.
All right, so he has bonds on both cases that are keeping him in there. It's just whether he chooses to bond out or not.
Sorry, tell her, I'm getting it for her. So her name is,
Who? Is that Nairi? Is that Nairi or the court reporter?
I added her the other day, hold on. Oh, right here.
Yes, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor, he'd like to enter a plea of not guilty.
All right, matter be set for pretrial. Ms. Dorn, if I can speak with you before you leave, please. And Ms. Perez, could you please announce your full legal name on the record so that court reporter can get it down?
Yes, Elinette Perez on behalf of the Public Defender's Office.
You spell it, please?
E-L-I-N as in Nancy, E-T-T, Perez, P-E-R-E-Z.
Thank you. Ms. Campbell, did you advise I'm sorry, Ms. Perez, did you advise Mr. Campbell that the MO charge is punishable by up to 60 days in jail?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Yadiel Torres. Good morning again, sir. State your name, please.
Good morning, Yadiel Torres, 12/14/2000.
Ms. Perez, what are we doing with this case?
Elinette Perez on behalf of Mr. Torres. He is going to enter a plea of not guilty.
All right, matter be set for pretrial in July.
He did also want to inform the court that there was a declination filed in this case.
All right, well, it's up to the state on whether they move forward or not the courts.
I know, I informed him that. Thank you.
Thank you. Everybody tries to give me way more power than I have.
It's nice and easy. Not guilty.
Mr. King, does that mean you're ready on Hernandez?
Yeah, we just want to clarify one of the things real quick.
Okay.
He would get all of his credit time served.
Of course he would.
That's what he just wanted to make sure that was on the record, so, cool. And that'll be part of the plea too.
It is a violation of the law for me not to give him credit for the time he's actually served on each individual case.
You know, Your Honor, you say it with such, so much more authority and confidence than I say it.
Well, I guess since I'm the one that would be passing down the sentencing, it's a little more comforting when it comes out of my mouth.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you ready to proceed forward?
You, yeah, you understand all the rights and everything?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, we're good. Oh.
Mr. Hernandez, raise your right hand to be sworn, please.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give to be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. State your name and date of birth again, please.
Kevin Hernandez, December 18, 1992.
Thank you. All right, since we've got several things going here, we're going to do each of them individually. It's going to seem very redundant, but we have to cover all of our bases. We're going to start with 20 MM 279. Did you have the opportunity to review the admission form?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions about it?
No, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol which would impair your ability to understand the terms of the admission in which you're about to enter?
No, Your Honor.
Is anyone forcing you to accept the state's offer today?
No.
Is it paragraph 2, Mr. King?
It's
Not sure which form you have, 2 or 4.
It's the paragraph 2.
Thank you. Paragraph 2 sets forth your constitutionally protected rights. Do you agree to waive those rights in this case in exchange for the court accepting this admission?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you are not a United States citizen, do you understand that by entering into this admission, it will be cause for deportation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Based upon the court's review of the on-view violation of probation affidavit, which was executed on January 14th, 2020, court finds that there's sufficient factual basis to move forward. Sir, I'm going to find that you are alert and intelligent, that you're entering into this admission freely and voluntarily, and the court will accept it. The terms of the admission are an adjudication of guilt, revoke and terminate the prior probation conditions, 8 months in the Osceola County Jail with credit time served of 192 days, and any outstanding costs. Looks like there's $535.50 due on this particular case. You'll need to report to the clerk's office within 90 days of your release to set up a payment plan. They will charge you a processing fee. First payment will be due that day. It's usually around $50, sometimes less, sometimes more, but be prepared to make it. Do you have any questions regarding that case?
No, Your Honor.
You have 30 days in which to appeal. If you need the services of an attorney, you can apply to the court. If you qualify, one will be appointed to you. Now I'm going to turn to CT 2848. Did you review the admission form?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any questions about it?
No.
Anyone forcing you to accept the state's offer today?
No, Your Honor.
Paragraph 2 sets forth your constitutionally protected rights. Do you agree to waive those rights in exchange for the court accepting this admission today?
Yes.
If you are not a United States citizen, do you understand that by entering into this admission, it will be cause for deportation?
I understand, Your Honor.
You're under the influence of any drugs or alcohol which would impair your ability to understand the terms of the admission in which you're about to enter.
No.
Based upon the court's review of the on-view violation of probation affidavit executed January 14, 2020, court finds that there's sufficient factual basis to move forward. Going to find that you are alert and intelligent, that you're entering into this admission freely and voluntarily, and the court will accept it. The terms of the admission are an adjudication of guilt, revoke and terminate the prior probation conditions, 8 months in the Osceola County Jail to be served concurrently with 2019 MM 2759 and any outstanding court costs. If there are court costs outstanding in this case, you'll need to report to the clerk's office within 120 days of your release to set up a payment plan or to pay in full. Any questions regarding that case?
No, Your Honor.
You have 30 days in which to appeal. If you need the services of an attorney, you can apply to the court. If you qualify, one will be appointed to you. Now I'm going to turn to 20 CT 50. You have the opportunity to review the plea form.
Yes.
Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have enough time to speak with the attorneys about it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with their services?
Yes.
Anyone forcing you to accept the state's offer?
No.
Paragraph 3 sets forth your constitutionally protected rights, including but not limited to your right to a jury trial, your right to a speedy trial. Do you agree to waive those rights in exchange for the court accepting this plea today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol which would impair your ability to understand the terms of the plea in which you're about to enter?
No, Your Honor.
If you're not a United States citizen, do you understand that by entering into this plea, it will be cause for deportation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Based upon the court's review of the uniform traffic citation, I find there's sufficient factual basis to move forward. Sir, I'm going to find that you are alert and intelligent, that you're entering into this plea freely and voluntarily, and the court will accept it. Terms of the plea are an adjudication of guilt, 60 days in the Osceola County Jail with credit time served of 156 and court costs in the amount of $273. You need to report to the clerk's office within 120 days to set up a payment plan or to pay it in full. If you choose a payment plan, they will charge you a convenience fee, and the first payment will be due that day. Do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
You have 30 days in which to appeal. If you need services of an attorney, you can apply to the court. If you qualify, one will be appointed to you. And that is to be served consecutive to 2019 MM 2759 and 2019 CT 2848. I know, don't give me that look. I'm just announcing what they've told me. Last but not least, 20 MM 358. Did you review the plea form?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have enough time to speak with the attorneys about it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with their services?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anyone forcing you to accept the state's offer today?
No, Your Honor.
Paragraph 3 sets forth your constitutionally protected rights, including but not limited to your right to a jury trial, your right to a speedy trial. Do you agree to waive those rights in exchange for the court accepting this plea today?
Yes.
If you're not a United States citizen, do you understand that by entering into this plea, it will be cause for deportation?
I understand, Your Honor.
Based upon the court's review of the charging affidavit, I find there's sufficient factual basis to move forward. Sir, I'm going to find that you are alert and intelligent, that you're entering into this plea freely and voluntarily, and the court will accept it. The terms of the plea are an adjudication of guilt, 8 months in the Osceola County Jail, to be served consecutive to 19 MM 2759 and 19 CT 2848, and court costs in the amount of $273. You'll need to report to the clerk's office within 120 days of your release to set up a payment plan or to pay it in full. If you choose a payment plan, they will charge a convenience fee, and the first payment will be due that day. Do you have any questions?
How much credit time served I got on that charge?
156 days.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Any other questions?
No.
You have 30 days in which to appeal. If you need the services of an attorney, you can apply to the court. If you qualify, one will be appointed to you. Mr. Hernandez, I hope not to see you again.
Thank you.
Good luck to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge, on that one you did, the court course is on count 2 only?
That's it.
You announced
for,
273?
our
You are here for an initial appearance after detention. The rules of criminal procedure require that you be brought before a judicial officer within 24 hours of your arrest. The purpose of the initial appearance is to have a judge list the charges against you, inform you of certain rights that you have, and to determine the conditions of your release. You should have already received a copy of these charges. The judge will review your paperwork to determine if there was probable cause to arrest you. If the judge finds probable cause, he or she will then determine if you qualify for bond and what the monetary and non-monetary conditions of your bond should be. If the judge does not have enough information to make a probable cause determination for your arrest, the state may be given additional time to amend the paperwork. You should also be aware of the following rights afforded to you by the Constitution. You are not required to say anything at this proceeding. Anything you say can be used against you. You have the right to communicate with counsel, family, or friends, and if necessary, you will be provided a reasonable means to do so. You have the right to counsel. If you have not already retained counsel and cannot afford counsel, the judge will appoint you a public defender. For the purposes of today's initial appearance proceedings, you may be able to briefly speak with a public defender regardless of whether the public defender is appointed for you. In order to have an attorney appointed by the court to represent you, you must be financially eligible, as determined by the court based on financial information you provide. Therefore, if you have not already done so, please complete, to the best of your knowledge, the financial affidavits provided by the correction officers. An application fee for the services of appointed counsel will be assessed. If you do not speak English or Spanish, please let a corrections officer know. When the judge is ready, She or he will begin calling your case by name. Please listen carefully for your name. When called, please approach the microphone as directed by the corrections officers. Thank you.
Usted se encuentra aquí para una audiencia o vista preliminaria, después de haber sido arrestado. Las leyes y estatutos criminales del estado de la Florida requieren que se celebre una vista preliminaria ante un oficial judicial dentro de un plazo de 24 horas después de su arresto. El propósito de esta vista preliminaria es para que el juez pronuncie los cargos contra usted, para que se le comunique a usted sus derechos procesales y para determinar las condiciones de su libertad o fianza. Ya usted debería haber recibido una copia de estas alegaciones o acusaciones por escrito. Ahora, el juez revisará la documentación en su caso para determinar si existe motivo fundado o causa probable para su arresto y detención. Si el juez determina que existe causa probable o motivo fundado, entonces decidirá si usted califica para que se le otorgue una fianza, tanto como cuáles serían las condiciones monetarias o no monetarias de dicha fianza. Si el juez no posee suficiente información para determinar si existe causa probable o motivo fundado para justificar el arresto, se le concederá a la Fiscalía tiempo adicional para modificar la documentación. También se les avisa que posee los siguientes derechos que se les otorgan por la Constitución. A usted no se le puede obligar a decir nada durante esta vista. Cualquier cosa que diga podrá ser utilizada en su contra como evidencia. Usted tiene el derecho de comunicarse con un abogado, pariente o amigo, y si es necesario, que se les proporcione los medios razonables y disponibles para hacerlo. Usted tiene el derecho a un abogado. Si todavía no ha encontrado o contratado un abogado y no tiene los recursos para hacerlos, entonces el juez le nombrará un defensor público. Para el propósito de la audiencia preliminaria de hoy, se le permitirá hablar brevemente con un abogado de la Oficina del Defensor Público, aun cuando no se le haya nombrado para representarle en todo el caso. Para poder recibir la designación de un abogado, primero debe calificar económicamente según lo determine el juez. Esto será basado en la información financiera que usted proporcione aquí. Por lo tanto, si no lo ha hecho todavía, de la mejor manera posible, por favor, llene el formulario de insolvencia económica que se le ha proporcionado por el oficial de correcciones. Se le impondrá un recargo o costo por los servicios del defensor público. Si usted no habla inglés, por favor, hágale saber al oficial de correcciones. Cuando esté listo, el juez comenzará el proceso llamando a cada una persona y caso por su nombre. Por favor, esté pendiente para pasar adelante cuando escuche su nombre y cuando escuche su nombre, haga el favor de acercarse al micrófono, tal como le indique el oficial de correcciones. Muchas gracias por su atención.
All right, good afternoon. For the folks who are here for initial appearance, a couple of things. First, I've reviewed the arrest affidavits in all the cases, and unless I indicate otherwise when your case is called, I do find probable cause to believe that you committed the offense for which you've been arrested based on the arrest affidavits. Further, unless you affirmatively indicate to me that you have a private lawyer, I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you in all the cases this afternoon. If you'll please come forward as your name is called, and we'll start with the interpreter case.
Good afternoon, Judge. This is Carlos Morales, State Certified Spanish Court Interpreter. The interpreter has been sworn in already today.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Morales. We're here for initial appearances. First case we'll be calling up is case 19 CT 3034, State versus Alexis David De Jesus Lugo. Good afternoon, sir. If you'll please tell us your name.
Buenas tardes, señor. ¿Cómo se llama usted?
The microphone's off, I believe.
Alexis David de Jesus Lugo.
Alexis David de Jesus Lugo.
Mr. De Jesus Lugo, you were arrested on a warrant for violation of probation.
Señor Lugo, usted fue arrestado por una orden por incumplimiento del régimen de probatoria.
This was on a charge
Correct.
of driving while under the influence.
La acusación era por haber conducido bajo los efectos.
It's alleged that you violated your probation by committing the offense of driving with license suspended on May 17th of 2020.
Y la acusación es que el delito que usted cometió, el incumplimiento, es que condujo con una licencia suspendida el 17 de mayo del 2020.
It's further alleged that you failed to pay the fines and court costs as ordered.
Además, también se le acusa de no pagar las costas y multas que se le habían impuesto.
It's alleged that you failed to complete community service hours as ordered.
También se le acusa de no cumplir con las horas de servicio comunitario que se le habían impuesto cumplir.
And it's alleged that you failed to complete the victims awareness class as ordered.
Además, también se le acusa de no cumplir con el curso de sensibilización a las víctimas que se le había impuesto tomar.
Judge Epperson has set your bond at 0 in this case.
Y el juez Epperson no le ha asignado fianza para este caso.
The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you.
Y se han nombrado los defensores públicos para que lo representen.
And your next court date will be
Next court date, June 18th, in courtroom 4A at 8:05 a.m.
La próxima vista será el 18 de junio, la sala 4A, a las 8:05 de la mañana.
Thank you, sir.
Gracias.
Does anyone else require the services of the Spanish language interpreter? If so, if you'll please come forward at this time.
Si hay alguien que necesita los servicios de un intérprete en español, acérquese al micrófono.
Takers.
There is someone showing up that will need one for Fabian, but that's inside the courtroom. Yeah, one of the victims will need an interpreter for Fabian.
I'm sorry, what's the defendant's name?
LaSalle, Fabian LaSalle.
All right, do we have a witness here at the case? We'll stand by just a moment, Mr. Morales. We're seeing if a witness is here who requires the interpreter.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, we don't have any witness. So we'll call that case at the end to see if the witness appears, but at this time, Mr. Morales, thank you, sir.
You're welcome, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, Michael Bolu. State your name, sir.
Michael Boyer.
Boilu.
Boyer, Valley, Boyer.
Boilu, you were arrested on a charge of trespass. You have a bond of $250. It appears that you are out on your recognizance of another trespass charge. Do we know if that's the same location?
I believe it is, Judge. The defendant made it clear to me this morning that he was out, or he got arrested again at the same location where he was not told not to go to.
but she allowed me to come back in. And then without me knowing it, she called the police. But I will not be going back to the residence, and I am gonna go forth with the charges. We'll take it to court. But I would like to be out. I do have somewhere to go.
You have to find another place to go.
I'm taking her to court.
I'm sorry?
I'm taking her to court because it's happened multiple times when she
Now,
lied
you
to me.
can, excuse me, we're not going to talk about or resolve the case today, and it may not be in your best interest to talk about the facts of the case. But at this time, your bond in this case will remain at $250. That bond will be conditioned upon you not returning to the residence at 790 Roll Street and not having contact with Sherry Ann Hogan. You may return on one occasion accompanied by a law enforcement officer to retrieve clothing or personal possessions you may have at that address. But otherwise, no matter what Ms. Hogan may say, you are not to return to that address. I'm not going to take any action on the other case for which you're out on release on your recognizance at this time. Your next court date will be
Next court date is still in jail, June 18th. If filed, July 20th in courtroom 5B at 8:30 a.m.
Thank you, sir. John Blagg.
Your Honor, he's detoxing.
All right, we'll reset Mr. Blagg to tomorrow. The court does find probable cause. His bond is $500. It'll remain at $500 at this time. His office is appointed to represent him. Joshua Cates.
Your Honor, in this case, I would argue there's no probable cause because the knife they found was, they didn't specify how big it was, and it could have just been a regular pocket knife. It had a sheath on it.
All right, thank you. State, did you wish to be heard?
State would request 24 hours to follow up with the officer.
Okay. State your name, sir.
Joshua
I'm
Cates.
sorry?
Joshua Cates.
All right, Ms. Cates, you're arrested for carrying a concealed weapon. I concur with your attorney, and the public defender's office is appointed to represent you, as I indicated, that there's presently not probable cause established in this case. The bond was set at $1,000. I'm going to go ahead and reduce the bond to $500, and I'll give the state 24 hours to submit a supplemental affidavit. You are out on bond in two cases with Judge Wooten. Based on the nature of this particular offense, I'm not going to take any action on those bonds, so your bond remains in effect as to those cases. So if you post a bond of $500, you'll be released pending your next court date. If you're unable to post bond or don't post bond, we'll see you tomorrow at initial appearance, and we'll see if the state can establish probable cause based on the nature of the weapon they claim was concealed. Other than possibly seeing you tomorrow, your next court dates will be?
Next court date is still in jail, June 18th. If filed, July 22nd in courtroom 5B at 8:30 a.m.
Thank you, sir. D'Angelo King.
He's approaching, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, sir. If you'll please tell us your name.
D'Angelo King.
Mr. King, you're arrested on a charge of battery. Your bond was set at $0. Do we have any information on Mr. King?
We have prior history going back to 2006, charges of domestic battery, criminal mischief, aggravated battery with a deadly weapon.
That was deadly weapon? That wasn't me. That wasn't me.
Has recent history going back to 2018 with a battery. Those charges were dropped. And, well, total 4 failure to appears. We were not able to contact the victim at this time.
Okay.
It was no victim. The victim was my.
Okay, Mr. King, let me stop you for just a moment, sir. Mr. King, I can't hear you. Your attorney's turned off the microphone, so if you'll bear with me for just a moment, sir. We're not here to determine whether you're guilty or not of these charges today. That will be done at a later time if the state files formal charges. Right now, the court is considering conditions of release, and at this time, the court has to take the affidavit that was prepared in support of your arrest at face value. I do find probable cause that the offense was committed and that you were the person who committed it.
No, it
Now,
wasn't no.
I understand you disagree with that, sir, but the court, all right.
Anything, sir.
I'm sorry?
I didn't put my hands on anybody, sir.
Okay, well, I'm not saying that
You
you,
looked in my face.
Mr. King, I'm not saying that you did. You may be entirely innocent. But here we're talking about probable cause. There is an affidavit that supports the allegation that you did commit a battery.
Wow.
Now, does he qualify for pretrial release with bond?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Mr. King, do you have another place you can stay on a temporary basis, sir?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Based on the nature of the allegations in this case, I'm going to I can't release you directly on pretrial release due to the nature of the charge, but I will set bond in the amount of $100. It will be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release. It will further be conditioned upon you not having contact until further order of the court with Giovanni Romani. You will not possess any weapons or firearms. You will also be ordered not to return until further order of the court to the address at 1533 Manor Drive, although you may do so on one occasion accompanied by a law enforcement officer to pick up clothing or other personal possessions you may have at that residence.
Yes, sir.
The pretrial release will be with mental health conditions if deemed appropriate. Now, Mr. King, the conditions of release may be modified, and you may be allowed contact, you may be allowed to return, but that has to be done through the court.
Yes, sir.
So,
Please help me, sir.
well, I'm trying to, sir. If you want to have contact, if you want to return, talk to your lawyer. You're represented by the Public Defender's Office. They can schedule a hearing before the judge that will be handling your case. That judge may allow you to return, may allow further contact. But at this point, until or unless such an order is entered, you cannot have that contact. So you have to, as I said, find another place to stay on a temporary basis. Your next court date will be?
Still in jail, June 18th. It filed July 17th in courtroom 4E at 8:30 a.m.
Okay. And Ms. King, it's important that you tell your attorney all the facts of the case. As you suggest, you may be entirely innocent of these charges. And if your attorney has all that information,
Yes.
he or she can talk to the state. They may decide not to file any charges against you.
Yes, that's the way it should be, sir.
Well, that very well may happen, but unfortunately, you have to be patient with the process until that occurs.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, sir.
How many days is away from June 18th?
That's next week, next Thursday. No, it's bond with pretrial release with mental health. Roma Miller. State your name, please.
Roma Miller.
Ms. Miller, you're arrested on a charge of battery on a person 65 years of age or older. Your bond was set at 0. Do we have any prior history?
She has no prior history, Judge, and we were not able to contact the victim.
Okay. Ms. Miller, I'm going to set bond, in this case, the amount of $500. It will be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release. If you do post bond, you will have to find another place to stay on a temporary basis. It's a condition of your bond that you not, and pretrial release, that you not have contact with David Huggins, and that you not return to 46 Bolton Court in Kissimmee. You may do so on one occasion accompanied by a law enforcement officer to retrieve clothing or personal possessions you have at that address. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Your next court date is on demand in circuit court.
Your Honor?
Yes.
The defendant has requested that she be able to, she takes care of the sister that lives at that location. I understand we haven't been able to contact the victim, but she's just requesting that she could be allowed to go back to that home to take care of her.
I'll need more, I would need more information regarding that. I'm afraid you'll have to set a hearing with the judge that's handling the case.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Miller, your next court date is on demand in circuit court. Thank you. Robert Ortiz.
Your Honor, Ortiz is in medical bay.
Okay. All right, Mr. Ortiz was arrested for aggravated battery. His bond was set at $2,500. I believe his bond at that amount at this time. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent him. And I'm not going to take any action on the traffic case that he's out on pretrial release for at this time. We will reset him to tomorrow. Sorry? Yeah, I find probable cause. Ayanna Price? Good afternoon. State your name, please.
Ayanna Price.
Okay, Ms. Price, you were arrested on a charge of aggravated assault. And the court does find probable cause to believe the offense was committed based on the arrest affidavit. Your bond is presently set at $0. Do we have any information on Ms. Price?
One prior arrest in 2012 for petty theft. Those charges were dismissed. The victim in this case is requesting third-party contact only in regards to the children. And the victim is stating that they do not live together.
Right. All right, Ms. Price, I'm going to set bond in your case in the amount of $500. It will be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release.
I didn't hear the last part that he was saying. The victim requested what?
The victim requested contact only through third parties. There'll be no face-to-face contact. So it'll be a condition of pretrial release that you not have contact with, direct contact with William Bostic. I will allow you to contact Mr. Bostic through a third party. Do you have family or someone who can?
Yes.
Okay. So you can contact him through your family to arrange visitation or address the welfare of your daughter. You will not return to the address at 3250 Cottonwood Court. You will not possess any weapons or firearms. Your next court date will be on demand in circuit court, which means that will be scheduled after the state has reviewed this case and decided what charges, formal charges, if any, they're going to file. So you talk to your attorney may be able to assist with that. Thank you. Fabian LaSalle, and if we could check one more time, see if the witness is here. Good afternoon. State your name, sir.
Fabian LaSalle.
Mr. LaSalle, you're arrested on a charge of battery. Your bond is presently set at $0. Do we have any prior history on Mr. LaSalle?
Mr. LaSalle has prior history going back to 2003, charges of domestic battery, simple battery, grand theft of firearms, dealing stolen property. And the last arrest came in 2011, dealing stolen property. The victim requested no contact.
All right. Mr. LaSalle, I'm going to set bond in your case the amount of $500. It will be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release. If you do post bond until further order of the court, you are ordered to have no contact directly or indirectly with Keisha Janice Vega Sanchez. You will not return to the area of 628 Royalty Court. You may return on one occasion accompanied by a law enforcement officer to retrieve clothing or personal possessions from that address. But other than that, you are not to go back to that address. The conditions of no contact and no return can be modified by the court that will be hearing your case. But until or unless that is done, you cannot do that, even if Ms. Vega Sanchez seeks to have you come back. So if you want those conditions modified, talk to your lawyer. The lawyer can schedule a hearing before the court that will be handling your case. There will be a condition that you not possess any weapons or firearms. And your next court date will be,
Next court date is still in jail, June 18th. It filed July 17th in courtroom 4E at 8:30 a.m.
thank you, sir. All right, I believe that's all we have.
Yes, sir, that's it.
Thank you, folks. So we'll be, I guess, in recess until 2.